In this video, I will show you how to use the tools that I created to help your students select an article for their IB Economics Internal Assessment and to review their drafts. In order to access these tools, you need to go to the website EconDoctor.com, create an account, and then click on IB Economics and Internal Assessment. The first thing you should do is to add an article. So for purpose of demonstrations, I have selected a commentary, microeconomics commentary, which you can find here. You can see that the article and the commentary. So what we're going to do now is simply to add the information about the article. Okay, so it's microeconomics. The key concept is going to be intervention. I'm just going to change the publication date because you see that, well, right now it's 2026, and this is a commentary from 2023, well, from 2024, but the article was published in 2023, so it would not meet the 1-year rule, and the system would flag it. All right. Okay, so let's start filling the information. It's a microeconomics article. Let's say it was published last month. The link is there. The key concept selected by the student was intervention. And the title, and it was the Straits Time. Title, Straits Times. And the content of the article is right here. All right, so I can add the article and I can analyze it to find out whether it would be a suitable choice for a microeconomics internal assessment. I can tell you that we are not going to reach 100% for, because it is less than 500 words, and typically articles that have the ideal length are comprised between 500 and 800 words. This is not a rule that is set by the IB, but this is more like of a rule that I set for my students, because an article that is too short isn't likely to provide enough material to the students for the students to comment on. So that's why I typically advise them to choose articles that are between 500 and 800 words. So right now the system is analyzing the article from multiple dimensions. So that's why it takes time. Credibility of the source, the length, the relevance of the core concept that was selected, the potential for analysis, the potential for evaluation, and the potential to use relevant microeconomic diagrams. So it typically takes 1 or 2 minutes to analyze. In the meantime, what we can do is to add the draft. So again, this is the commentary that we are going to analyze. So it's just a PDF version. We can only upload PDF. So let me upload that document. Here we are. So this is the article we are commenting. Let's call it demo, and let's say that we wrote this commentary today. So I'm adding the commentary. This is the one I showed you, and we submit the draft. All right, you see that the analysis of the article is almost complete. What I can do now is to start analyzing the draft. And again, that system will analyze the draft from multiple perspectives, and basically it is aligned with the criteria that are used by the IB. So criterion A, I forgot the order, but I think criterion A is diagrams, B is terminology, C is concept, I think D is analysis, and E is evaluation, if I remember well. So you will have these five different workers that work simultaneously on the draft to carefully analyze each dimension. And what is pretty cool about the system is that the system will provide you with a predicted grade for each criterion. So then you know what you did well, and you can identify the areas for improvement. And beyond the predicted grade, the system also gives you feedback. All right, so you see, working on it. In the meantime, we can read the report for the article. So you see the length, we only have 4 out of 5 because it is a bit short. The 1-year rule, well, I cheated a bit, sorry, but the system also checks for the 1-year rule. And then, yes, you have is the source credible? Is it aligned with the unit of the syllabus? In that case, microeconomics. Is the key concept relevant? Is there a good potential for analysis? So basically, are there enough econ concepts that can be linked using cause and effect relationships? Are there suitable diagrams that we could use to support our arguments, to illustrate the main points that we are making. And again, does the article provide with the students with enough ideas, material, content for them to write interesting evaluative comments? You have an overall feedback, which is based on the feedback that is provided for every criterion. Okay, so you have the grade, like out of 5, like the number of stars, but then for each criterion, you have a short paragraph that justifies, like, why has the system awarded the number of stars that you have. Well, the conclusion for this particular article is that it's a good choice. It is a good choice. It is absolutely suitable for an internal assessment in microeconomics using the key concept of intervention. Let's see if the analysis, yeah, look at that. The analysis is finished for the draft. So let's see the report. All right, so this is a strong draft. Well, in fact, it wasn't really a draft, it was a final version. So I'm glad that the grade is not too low. So again, you always have this disclaimer that just tells the students, hey, okay, this system is designed to be as precise, accurate, useful as possible, but it doesn't really replace the professional opinion of your teacher. That's also valid for the article selection. Again, it checks whether the 1-year rule is satisfied. You have an overall report that is, again, based on what the system has assessed for every criterion. So you see, for every criterion, you have the table that is basically the one that the IB provides, like the different mark bands, like what does it take to get a 0, 1, 2, 3 for diagrams, for example. So right now the system predicts a 2 out of 3 for the diagram. And again, it justifies why. So what's good and what could be improved to go from a 2 to a 3. Same thing for the terminology. Well, for this one, it's a 2 out of 2. That's great. Again, it justifies strengths and weaknesses. Same thing for analysis and application, 2 out of 3. Key concept, 3 out of 3. Evaluation, 3 out of 3. So that's great, because once the student has that, he or she knows that maybe I should refine my analysis. And you see, you always have a few sentences at the end of the paragraph that tells you, well, perhaps this is something you should do. Same thing here with the diagram, like what could be some limitations, what students could do to improve and turn this already pretty solid draft into a perfect one that would score 14 out of 14. Yeah, so in fact, for those who know this, I actually created that tool last year. So you see, it's pretty much the same, it works the same way, but it's been considerably improved. Well, first, because we now use an AI model that is much more sophisticated compared to the one we used last year. The prompts have been refined. The model is now a very powerful reasoning model. And of course, over the last year, I believe over 5,000 articles have been analyzed and over 2,000 or 3,000 drafts. And all the data that has been produced by this process has been used to make the model much more powerful, much more accurate, much more reliable. And of course, I will continue to value your feedback to make it even more useful for you, for your students, so they can perform as well as possible when writing their internal assessments. I hope you enjoy this tool. If you have any questions on how to use it, if you have any suggestion or feedback you'd like to share, click here, contact, drop me an email, send me a short message, and I'll be happy to respond. Have a nice day, everybody, and see you soon.